Sia Budapest, jó napot. These are the couple of things I learned before I thought I'll go inside the room and deliver the presentation. Anyhow, so talking about security, everybody's talking about security. So the last year of 2013 and the better half of this year, that's 2014, we can easily term these years as the year of breaches. But I'm not here only to talk about these breaches. I'm here to talk about some missing links of security that actually made those breaches possible. And mind you, those breaches took place in world's best guarded networks of Google, Facebook, Twitter. And the first question that comes to my mind is, does Google know security? Yes, it does know the security. So my name is Simranjeet, and I'm working as a tech lead for pre-sales and security for the European region with the Cyberoam technologies. So security challenges emerge from evolution of IT. The interplay between the businesses and IT is making sure that the networks that we have evolve at an unprecedented rate. So, and you can add to this the impact of the consumerization of IT, the introduction of new technologies like cloud, virtualization, the need for high performance. Now, companies or the enterprises want to leverage all these technologies with them. They want to use cloud, they want to use virtualization, they want to deliver high performance to their customers, but at what cost? With the increase in the networks or the size of the networks, we are adding something to it. We are adding the complexity. Now, for us, the complexity is the new threat. The more large networks that we have, the more technologies we introduce to it, the more complex we make that network. And on the top of that, these bad guys over there, sitting on the internet, on the public domain, use well-crafted cyber attacks to attack their victims. From simple social engineering attacks to complicated attacks like voter holding, advanced persistent threats. And moreover, users in any organizations or any organization is always on the radar of these malicious persons. Now, as I mentioned, last year and this year as well, I know that most of you must have heard that a couple of weeks ago, over 5 million Gmail credentials were stolen and posted online. Now, we can call these last year as the year of data breach, but what made this happen? Of course, some blind eyes and blind spots. I would like to take an analog example. Let's say there's a driver who's driving a car. He drives the car through the same highway every day. And it's been like 2 years, 3 years he's driving. He knows all the curves. He knows where he's going to meet security cameras. He knows where he's going to get some traffic lights. He knows when to turn left, when to turn right. But still, he cannot drive with blind eyes. And if you compare that driver with a security administrator of a company who knows about his network, who knows about the traffic that is passing through the network, who knows about the user behavior of his organization, even though if he turns a blind eye, it could prove very costly. And that's what happens. Although the best guarded networks need to be guarded, but you need to make sure that there are no blind eyes so that there are no blind spots created for the hackers to take advantage of that. So as I said, 2013 earned many nicknames, and it was like a watershed year or watershed moment in the world of cyber crime, and we can easily call the past year as the year of stolen credentials. I would like to take some case studies or some examples in further slides, which will and I will talk further more about those examples. The first one I want to talk about is Adobe. Last year, in the beginning, it was reported that over 38 million username passwords were stolen and posted online in the form of downloadable files of Adobe customers. And it was found out that This incident highlights that there is a major issue with weak passwords of users. People, we at Cyberoam have also researched and found out that people are using weak passwords. We also found some people using their passport numbers as passwords, or social security numbers as passwords, or birthdays as passwords, which is absolutely wrong. Further, in the middle of the year, I believe, or the beginning, Twitter reported that over 250,000 credentials were stolen. And when they discovered this attack, the attack was still in progress, which means the moment they discovered, already the damage was done. Over 250,000 credentials were stolen. And Bob Lord, the director of Twitter, he clearly mentioned that the attack was very complex. And it's not only Twitter. There have been many organizations that have been attacked by these similar attack methods. Further, by the, I think, later end of the year, last year, over 2 million Facebook, Gmail, and Twitter credentials were stolen and again posted online. And this time, it was another method called keylogging. It was found out that a keylogging malware was installed on several computers around the world, and that keylogging malware was actually recording the key logs of the users and then sending the required information to a centralized server. So it pinpoints to the fact that user is actually the weakest security link in any organization. Although hackers, they want to know what's inside your network so that they can initiate the attacks that may directly impact the servers or the technologies that you're using, but you will realize that most of the attacks are also directed towards users and their behavior. So I'm here to talk about which were those missing links that made these attacks possible. And I will be taking up like 3 links, and I'll be just talking more about those links. The first link that I'm going to talk about is, the first missing link is identifying risky users. And it is one of the most critical links. Until unless you don't know what your users are doing inside the network, or guest users, maybe somebody is coming inside your company for a meeting, they want to access the internet, what your guest users are doing, what exactly they are accessing on the public network, are they making any attempts to access something inside your network? It is very important to identify each and every activity. But before that, it's time for some science fiction, and I would love to play a video, which is from a famous Hollywood movie. I'm not sure where's the voice or audio. Anyhow, I believe most of you must have seen this movie. It's a video clip from The Matrix. And the point that I want to make here is the character over here, played by the name of the character is Neo. He's not only able to stop the bullets that are directly going to hit him, but he's also able to stop the bullets that are not going to hit him, right? So as a security administrator, can you do that? Can you not only stop the attacks that will prove very costly for your organization, can you also stop those attacks which might not? For example, I may not have a FTP server in my network, but I may still see some events in my, say, IPS logs saying that somebody is initiating some or the other kind of FTP attack, right? And perhaps you cannot because you since don't know from where to get trained on how to stop all the attacks. And this is actually called 100% security. Now, no vendor can claim, and nor do we, to provide 100% security. But how close we can get to that 100% mark is very important. So now this may certainly interest you, right? It does. Now there's another video. It's from a famous Hollywood movie, Minority Report. And in this clip, the victim who is about to be killed is named through a ball. I'm not exactly sure about the story because I'm from India, so I watch most of the time Bollywood movies rather than Hollywood movies. So the name of the victim just crops up, and there's the victim. In this case, it's Sarah Mark and Donald Dubin. So can you identify your risky users at a glance? Just popping up the name. There may be many users inside the network. You just want to know who is the riskiest one, or who might knowingly or unknowingly damage the reputation of your organization, may steal something. What if you could tell that John, maybe John is the owner of a company, your new employee of the month is actually a malicious insider? Or what if you could tell that Sally, who actually responds to a lot of phishing stuff, is not actually a malicious insider, but she just needs a little bit of IT training and awareness. Might be she might be a secretary or from an HR department. People usually do not have IT awareness from such backgrounds. She might need some training that you just need to tell her that you don't have to click on links that you don't know, or you do not have to open email attachments that you don't know, right? And what if, last but not the least, that your CEO is your biggest threat? A malware implanted on a CEO's laptop can have hard repercussions. I mean, a lot of confidential data is stored on CEO's laptop, financial records, a lot of things. So our study at Cyberoam Technologies says that there's a rule of 80 to 20. So 20% of users account for 80% of threats in any organization. You name it, you have it. You say defense organizations. I mean, defense are again a different kind of a vertical. You say verticals like hospitality, defense. Any name it, you have it. The 80 to 20 rule works everywhere. It's the 20% of users that account for 80% of threats. So what choices do you have, or organizations in general have? Either they have the choice of investing in human intelligence, which they heavily do. They try to hire intelligent minds. They make sure that they have the best of network security professionals inside their network working for their company. And they also do invest in SIEM solutions a lot for security, incident, and event management. But is that enough? Perhaps not. Even if you have such solutions, your risky users will look like this. Dark, you don't know, you can't even recognize your faces sometime. But here is where we come into the picture. We at Cyberoam Technologies bring science fiction into network security, and we are introducing a quite surprisingly new revolutionary method of identifying your risky users. And we call it UTQ, User Threat Quotient. Now, in User Threat Quotient, you can spot your risky users at just a glance. You just have to open up GUI of your browser, access Cyberoam, and you have the users who are risky to your network, to your company, and you can just see them at a glance. Now, in UTQ, or User Threat Quotient, every user inside your network is represented by a bubble, balloon, or a sphere or a circle, whatever you would like to call it. And there's an average threat rating, and there's a risk rating, a relative risk rating associated with every user, depending on his browsing behavior, what applications he uses, what is his status. Status means, does he belong to top management, middle management, or low management? Is he a new employee or an employee who has been working with your organization for over 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, right? And all these factors and parameters are combined and are represented for a particular user in a bubble. Now, the idea looks very simple, but it is quite innovative. Now, post UTQ, if in case there has been a targeted attack on your CEO, he will appear as a big bubble which will easily give you an idea that at the moment, either your CEO is under attack or he's trying to attack. There could be two possibilities. Now, it's just the beginning. As I mentioned, there are different parameters which we will be implementing by the end of this year. And we will have parameters like rank, whether it's a junior employee, middle management, or top management, status, whether it's a new joinee or an exiting employee who's about to leave you. I'll take an example. Let's say there's a new employee. It's his first day in the company. And he's trying to log on onto the Windows domain. Most companies have Microsoft Windows Server, they have domain. And somehow he's not able to log in. He tries one time, second time, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And you get the logs and you see, okay, someone is trying to log in onto the domain. However, he's not able to log in. Now, is that an attack? Or is it that the user might have forgotten his password? Since he's a new employee, it's a high possibility that he might forget his password. On the other hand, there's another employee who's about to leave you in a week, or maybe in 2 days or 3 days' time. And he's trying to access something that he shouldn't. Now, it is an attack. Or maybe he's trying to steal something. So all these parameters are incorporated along with the devices, number of devices. You can see over there the number of devices a user uses, years in the organization, the rank, the status, the internet browsing behavior, the applications that he's using, whether he's using an iPad, it is differentiated. Whether he's using an Android application, it's again differentiated. Whether it's using a BlackBerry or a Windows Mobile or a Windows operating system on laptop or a Linux or a Mac, everything is differentiated and combined together to represent a user in a bubble format. Now, another missing link, the second one that I want to talk about, is lack of security know-how to prevent network intrusions. Now, most of us do have IPS devices deployed in our organizations, and we should, we shouldn't be ashamed of accepting that most of the network security professionals do struggle with their IPS devices. They don't know what to allow, what to deny, which IPS policy will be best for what. But with Cyberoam's plug and play IPS, things have become very simplified. We have ready-to-use IPS policy templates with firewall rule style marking that can easily help you to deploy your IPS policies without much of complications. We have got customizable security for enterprise networks. Now everything, the attack vectors, the signatures, the severity, the platform is categorized very finely so that you can apply different signatures to your IPS appliance easily. Another missing link is about skilled cybersecurity professionals. And I must admit, and I'm the first one to have the first-hand experience of it. For past 6 months, we are trying to hire a technical guy for our team. And when I say I'm struggling, I really mean to say that I'm literally struggling to find a skilled security professional for my company, for my team. And I'm just talking about India, with 1.2 billion people, a lot of engineers coming out and graduating every year. You have no dearth of technical people in India. You want doctors, you want engineers, everybody's there. But what is lacking is a skilled cybersecurity professionals. If you ever go to a school or a college and you ask students, what would you like to be when you graduate? Someone will say lawyer, doctor, or maybe a pilot, or in India, most of them will say, I'll go to the Navy or Army, because we have one of the largest defense forces in the world. But nobody will say, I would like to be a cybersecurity professional, or hardly there will be quite a few. So we at Cyberoam are introducing, or have introduced, Cyberoam Academy to fulfill the shortage of skilled network professionals. So these are some statistics from around the globe, from different countries. For example, United States estimates that 4.5 million security professionals will be required worldwide in next 2 years. But we are way behind the 4.5 million mark. And what does ISC Square has to say? 83% of enterprises claim that it is extremely difficult or somewhat difficult to recruit or hire a security professional for their companies. So this is where Cyberoam Academy has started to bridge the missing link of education, career, and industry. So these are some of the needs of educational institutes nowadays. We already have collaborations with universities in Poland, UK, Brazil, Mexico, India, of course, our home country, Australia, New Zealand. A couple of them are as well in Thailand, and a lot of them in Ghana, in the northern or the sub-Saharan Africa. So these are some of the educational needs, educational institutions need, where they want to create a differentiation, where they want to have a ready-made courseware. They want to have the courseware which understands or gives students the first-hand experience into the real world. What instructors need? They need real-world courseware as well. They need mentoring. They need hands-on experience. They want to connect with the industry experts. Nowadays, look at the colleges. How many of the professors and the teachers that we have in different schools and colleges connected with the industry experts? I think hardly 2 or 3% are connected actually with the industry experts. They don't know actually what's happening outside the curriculum that they are teaching to the students. What students need, of course, they need a job, but they also need to have hands-on experience. They want to have a certification. They need to have hands-on experience and the practical experience of what all things that may encounter when they leave the college or the university and start working. And what we need as industry, we need, of course, skilled workforce, which we are lacking. We need future-ready skills. And everything we are binding with the Network Security Academy. So Cyberoam Academy has a program, and it has a value to it. Now, one of the things I want to absolutely make clear over here is that we at Cyberoam do not have even 1% of commercial interest into Cyberoam academies. We are providing lab setup to universities at our cost. We are training their professors and teachers at our cost. We are traveling, even I traveled to Lithuania to take some lectures for Kaunas University of Technology in Lithuania. We are providing a curriculum. We have a separate team, a training team, academy team in our company that creates the courseware. Everything comes free of cost for the universities and for the schools and the educational institutes. So there are just career options that this slides talk about different portfolios that we have. And all in all, we have a 56 hours of training program which can be divided into, say, 2-3 hours daily, and which can give students a first-hand experience into the network security world. Now, what students gain from us, we also make sure that that we circulate the people who graduate or the students who graduate through our courses. And mind you, we have presence in over 125 plus countries. We have over 5,000 plus different distributors in these 135 plus countries, and we have over 100,000 installations in these countries. And we float the curriculum vitae or resumes or biodatas, whatever you would like to call, to our distributors to make sure that if they need any kind of a skilled person, they can contact in their country. So, talking about Cyberoam as a product, we have end-to-end expertise in network security. We are EAL4 Plus certified, ICSA Lab certified. So whatever I've been boosting about Cyberoam being one of the best UTM products that you will have ever in your network, everything is supported by world's best certifications as well. We support compliances, we have on-appliance reporting and logging system, which provides you over 1,300 plus different reports and can help you gain compliances for different organizations like PCI, HIP, AA, or DSS. We have a history of innovations and industry firsts at Cyberoam Technologies. We were the first one to introduce layer 8 identity-based technology into UTM products. And it is well a patent towards Cyberoam technologies. We were the first vendor to introduce on-appliance web application firewall onto our UTM product. We were one of the first very few vendors to introduce on-appliance reporting and logging system with over 1,300 plus reports, as I mentioned earlier. And mind you, if you compare UTM products of Cyberoam with other vendors, you name it, Fortinet, ForgeGuard, SonicWall, we are one of the fastest in the industry with over 150 plus Gbps throughput rates for our next generation firewalls and UTM products. And of course, we are the only one of the first vendors to get certified for ISO 2000 for our global customer support services. For us, giving support is just not about troubleshooting. It's about an experience that we believe in providing to the customers so that they can feel and live with it. Of course, we are a Sophos company. We are a part of Sophos Group, and we will be. We have sales and channels and presence in over 125 plus countries. We have been a visionary vendor, and we have been recognized as a network security innovator by SE Magazine. These are some of the product certifications that I've already talked about with Cyberoam. We have been on Gartner's Magic Quadrant for UTM ever since 2007 and 8. And mind you, we are the only Indian multinational company to feature ever on a Gartner's Magic Quadrant. That's it from my side. If you guys have any question, you want to talk about UTM products, feel free to stop by the booth of C-Contact.
Köszönjük szépen az előadónak. Mielőtt még a kérdésekre rátérhetnénk, két fontos hirdetést kell itt megtennem. Az egyik, hogy a hétpecsétes történetek második része az minden regisztrált részvevőnek jár, a standnál lehet átvenni. A hétpecsét Információbiztonsági Egyesület standjánál, úgyhogy menjetek érte, akinek nincsen. Illetve ezt a kis kérdőívet, ezt legyetek szívesek kitölteni az első napra, a mai nappal kapcsolatban, mert értékes nyeremények járnak érte. Úgyhogy ez a kettő volt, és akkor most van-e kérdése még valakinek? Megint csak szóljatok, mert látni nem nagyon látok itt. Yes, these trainings are available within university courses, or?
Yes, the trainings are. It all depends upon the university. How would they like to incorporate our courseware? Would they like to run it as a separate course, or would they like to integrate into their own? For example, there is a 4 years of bachelor's of computer sciences in India, and our program is just for 56 hours. And so they can just integrate this 56 hours into those 4 years anytime, and then can have this courseware playing along.
How much Sophos based are these courses?
Sophos based?
Yes.
As of yet, it's only has Cyberoam into it, but by the next of the year, we are making sure that we introduce Sophos endpoint as well into our coursewares to make sure that students have edge network security knowledge with the help of Cyberoam UTM and the endpoint with the Sophos antivirus or the endpoint security they have.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Is it available as a classroom education in Hungary or online education?
It will be available as online as well. We are working towards that. But as of yet in Hungary, it's not available. We are looking for some educational institutes who can partner with us and move further with it.